Nailed it. 2-point landing. If you're just joining us, I am Captain Tommy Scoville of the Lifeboat, and that is how you do it. That was how you do it, people. It was the intro went perfectly. That never happens, but I'm pretty happy about it. Welcome everyone to the Lifeboat, and for any of the new folks, we're awfully glad to have you. Get that turned down here. We're awfully glad to have you. I'm setting up a couple of other screens so that at some point today I'll be able to get a better look at some pictures. I'm getting a couple of comments rather. All right, so let's get this thing going. This is a subject matter that is really near and dear to my heart, right? In a really big way, because it's something that comes up all the time, and it's something that applies to everybody walking planet Earth. Right? For real. This applies to every single person on this planet right now. There are so many of us that find ourselves, whether we're 30 or we're 40 or we're 50 or we're 60, or it doesn't matter, but we find ourselves at a place where we look at our lives and we just say, what am I doing? You know, this is it. For me, that moment came in a federal prison, and obviously, right, that's got some heavy connotations with it, right? Being in prison is something that obviously is going to have an effect right out Jump Street. You're looking at your life. However, I was also living like a moron. I was still in there doing dope and doing what I was doing. So I was in the life. I just happened to be incarcerated. And when the time came, the reason that I'm sober, the reason that there's a lifeboat, the reason for all of it is because I met a man who made me believe that you absolutely could change every single thing about who you are. 5 days sober. The first couple of days were rough, but the shakes have finally gone. People, congratulations are in order. Everybody get a look at that. Number 4. This is the Lifeboat Participation Trophy. 5 days gets a huge participation trophy award. That's awesome. The most important 5 days of your sobriety, by the way. You'll never have 5 days more important than the ones you just did. And you talk about a stepping stone right now for changing your life. You talk about a stepping stone for exactly what we're talking about right now. That's when you get chemicals out of your life, people, you've reached ground zero, right? You've reached base camp. Now you can start trying to change your life and change it for real. And this is something that so many people struggle with. And there's been a million books written. And there are gurus who climb out of the woodwork every single day to tell people how they can change their life, how they can make their life better. And what it really comes down to is some really basic stuff. Don't get me wrong. You can absolutely cloud the hell out of this. You can mumbo jumbo it to the end of time. You can put all kinds of trimmings on it. But the truth of the matter is, this is not a particularly difficult process. It's arduous. It's going to put you as a human being through a bit of a ringer, because it does mess with your psyche, right? It's going to be something that your head's going to go through it. But when you come out of the other side, it's going to be an opportunity for you to turn your life around. And it doesn't matter what is making you unhappy. It doesn't matter what the impediment to you being where you want to be is. You know what it is. In every case, there's nobody out there that doesn't know what it is. That thing that they really need to change. If what is it that's holding you up from being the best person that you've ever been? If that's something that really doesn't jump out at you and slap you in the face, then get a piece of paper and a pen and start writing. And within a week of journaling, you're going to figure out really quick exactly what it is. I promise you. The problem is that we get thoughts trapped inside our dome. But getting rid of that of the stumbling block and becoming the best you that you possibly can, completely changing your life. Well, what if you got to tear it down to absolute nothing? What if you literally have to start from scratch, right? You can't do that at 50 or 40 years old. That's not possible. That's exactly what I did. I was 46 years old when I decided that every single thing about who I was wrong. There was nothing about who I was that I wanted to drag from the old me to the new me. Not in terms of personality and characteristics. You know, the character of who I was completely needed to be overhauled. And I had thought about this so many times in my life. I had thought, I can't tell you the number of times I got to change who I am. I have to clean up. I have to do this. I have to do that. And you start New Year's resolutions and you do all of these different things and you go to rehabs. And then I met a guy that broke it down. And I said to him, how is it that you believe it possible to shed off everything of what you were and become a completely new entity for all intents and purposes, right? I mean, if you were a guy that robbed banks, got over on every single person that you could meet, everybody was a mark. Every person I met, I was looking at to see what I could get over on them for. Could I con money out of them? Could I literally just steal it from them, right? Out of a wallet, out of a car? What angle could I work on every single person I met? Because I had to come up with that every single day. I had to come up with that $600 or $700. And this went on for decades. You know, there were times I had really good jobs, made a ton of money, had no problem paying for dope. And there were times that I stole, and there were times that it got so bad. And you know, I was blackballed from the work I used to do. And I took to robbing banks to support my drug habit. You know, which obviously is what landed me in federal prison. And then I went back. I got out sober and fell back into doing dope and the same habits because I didn't change who I was. When I was away for the bank robberies, I didn't become a new person at all. I didn't change anything about who I was. I stopped doing drugs, but I was the exact same person. I was just drug free. And for me, in my life, that meant that there was literally no chance that this was going to work. I wasn't smart enough to realize that at the time. I really, you know, I didn't understand anything about sobriety at the time. And I certainly didn't understand anything about a concept as highfalutin as tearing yourself down to nothing and rebuilding yourself. So the question becomes, it's all fun and games, right? It's fun to talk about. It's a really cool concept. There are people hearing the sound of my voice right now that think, damn, it would be nice to just completely change who I am. It really would. There are things that I would like to, about myself, that I would like to change dramatically, but it's just not that easy, Tommy. All right. So here's how it works. If you end up in a place like the military, or very often, if you end up in a place like a cult or anything else, there are certain things that everybody does that seems to carry over from one to another, to another, to another. The military is very particular about very small details, right? Guys polishing boots until they, have these ridiculous shines, and beds need to be made so that you could bounce a quarter off of them. And all of these things that in the scheme of things, you're thinking, you're trying to teach somebody to fight. What difference does it make if the guy's bed's made well? But what it really comes down to is these people are programming themselves. And we use the term programming in prison often. If somebody is programming, it usually meant that convict has a routine that they do every single day. They do not deviate from it in any way. And people do it for different reasons. They do it because they want to yoke up and they want to have a six-pack abs, so they start programming to get that. Or there are people just trying to kill time. They got 3 or 4 years left on a sentence, and they just want to get into a program that's going to make time go by quickly. So it usually schedules things throughout the entire day. But the point is this: when you begin to do really small things that you've never done before, and you start doing them in repetition every single day, you begin with a clean slate. You literally are starting from scratch. And what I mean by that is, if you start with the smallest stuff in your life, the stuff that seems super insignificant. Okay, I was the world's biggest liar. I was a thief. I was a lot of things that needed to be changed. But when I start working one-on-one with this cat, he walked into my cell and said, "Are you kidding? This is how you live? This needs to be fixed. You can't have, this kind of an environment and change who you are, because this is how you used to live. So this crap here's got to change today." Right? We're not going into the new plan with you living in this condition. If this is how you lived in the past, you sure as you know what aren't going to live like this in the future. And at the time, I thought he was an idiot. But what I've come to realize is that I could control. I wasn't ready yet to take on these massive issues that I spent 3 decades destroying. All of the baggage from 30 years of doing dope and committing crime is something that's pretty heavy to carry around. And that's what sobriety was going to mean to me, especially in the beginning. I started doing dope young enough that all of those coping skills and all of the things, all of these really heavy duty things that went through my entire life that I should have coped with from the age of about 13 on, I didn't. I had my foot completely to the floor, right? Full bore, whoa, just as fast as you could possibly go. The life that I was living was out of control. It was completely out of control. But there were tons of things about that life, right, that I did every single day. Like roll out of bed, not give a crap about making the bed, kick the sheets to the bottom of the, roll out of bed, probably in whatever the hell I was wearing the night before. Go in, brush my teeth, and start, thinking about what the day was. And even in prison, you're doing dope. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not taking care of where you live. And he was right. When I started to get control of the smallest things, right? You think about what goes on during the course of one of your days. You got to go to work, right? All of us have to go to work. And there's an attitude that you can change your attitude at work. You can completely change how you are at work and at everywhere else. But think about your day until you get to work. Until you get to work. When you start out first thing in the morning, what do? Because if you start to take control of that while you're trying to change your life, you're going to brainwash yourself. Literally, it's what you're doing. You're going to set up a new routine. And what you're saying to yourself at every single turn is, I'm not that guy anymore. That's not who I am anymore. The guy that got up in the morning and didn't make his bed, not me. I make my bed. You get up in the morning, make your bed, right? Do a good job. It's the first thing in the day that you can set as a goal and knock out. And more important than that, it's great to start your day with a victory. Make no mistake. It's an awesome thing to start your day with a victory and to put a little order into your life. But what's more important is you didn't do that when you were a drug addict, right? Chances are that just wasn't something you were doing. Start looking at the habits you had and destroy them. Don't drag those habits into your new life. You want a new one? That's where you start. You start with the smallest things that you deal with and that you look at every minute of every day. And this becomes a routine. So now we get up in the morning, the alarm goes off, right? Here we talk about the fact that things get trapped in your mind. Fantastic thoughts, ideas, all kinds of things get trapped inside our brain. The easiest way to make sure that doesn't happen is to put pen to paper. So we encourage people. In fact, more than that, if you really want to get the most out of your life, you have to do this. It's not an option. You have to journal. At this point, what's going on in your life, we talk about it all the time on the boat, but when you go to bed, if you go to bed with all of the stuff that's in your head unresolved from the day, it's going to make your sleep not productive, because while you're sleeping, your subconscious is supposed to be going to work on the things that you couldn't think about before you went to bed, because they're buried just a little bit underneath, and it's going to work through all of that stuff, right? So we want to make sure we journal before we go to bed, and we want to make sure that we journal the second we wake up. So when the alarm goes off in the morning, you roll over, you smack that thing, you grab your journal, and you start writing. Doesn't have to make sense, doesn't have to sound good, doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to have a damn subject matter. You can just write. But get what's in your head from the night before, from all of the dreams that didn't finish or whatever. Get them out. Dump it. Info dump. Right? Once that is out of your dome, get out of the bed, make it look good, and then eat something. Well, Tommy, I'm just not really a breakfast kind of guy. Okay, eat something. I don't care if you're a breakfast kind of person. Well, I'm trying to lose some weight. Excellent. Good idea. Losing weight is an excellent idea. Eat some breakfast. And if you never did before, you sure as crap need to now, right? You're starting from scratch. And what I just broke down for you is and do these things at the same time every day, right? Get a routine, because the new you is a person who has a routine. They program. The new you journals. The new you makes lists of things they want to accomplish. The new you takes those dreams that you've been kicking around in your dome for your entire life and puts them down on paper. And now those dreams, they become goals. Because if you leave that crap in your head, it's a dream. That's exactly what it is. But when you start taking the time to write this stuff down on paper, now all of a sudden, we're into a whole new brain activity, right? Now we're actually organizing something. This is taking shape. It's becoming real. And this is all very much a part of creating a new you. If you're unhappy where you are, ask yourself some very simple questions. Do I do any of the things Tommy just said? Right? If you're unhappy right now, are you doing any of those things that I just said every morning? Simple as it sounds, right? Get up, journal, make your bed, eat something, and obviously take a shower, get cleaned up. I'm more of a guy who showers at night. Okay, good. Shower in the morning. Do it. Take a shower. And then go get your coffee, do whatever you do. And you know what? Then the rest of the day is yours. Go to work, have a great attitude, right? Be the person that you are. And then when you come home, you got to get back into the new you again, right? You're not going to fall asleep whenever you fall asleep. You're not going to fall asleep when you've looked at enough damn shorts, right? You spent enough time on TikTok or on the big red button, right? Over here on YouTube to satisfy you. So now you're going to roll over and go to bed. No. Every single night, you're going to go to bed at the same time. You're going to get into a routine where you do the same things. Why? Because you didn't before. And because doing it now is going to take that day. We as recovering addicts, or we as people that have never done dope but are looking to change who we are, if we don't have structure, we fail. That's it. I could church it up. We could talk about it for a lot longer. The point could really be dragged out. But what it comes down to is if you do not have a routine, you are going to fail. So design a routine, right? Design a routine. How many times have people on this boat heard me say that the average person spends more time planning a 3-day vacation than they do planning their sobriety? Well, this is bigger than planning your sobriety. This is planning the new you. This is changing who you are. And I'll tell you something. You might love who you are. Fan-freaking-tastic. I hope everybody loves who they are. If you love who you are, what do you need to change? It might be minuscule. It might be this big. But you change it the same way. Seriously, you change it by putting it as part of a routine that you dedicate time to. We've all heard the old 100, right? Or whatever it is. If you dedicate 100 hours over the course of a year to anything, you're going to be better than 90% of the people who do it. As human beings, the sad thing is that these days, what we dedicate our time to very often fits in the palm of our hands, right? I mean, this thing becomes the most important thing for almost everybody on the planet. And, it sounds almost hypocritical because I'm talking to you through one of these platforms, but what you do with your time is going to determine your success the rest of your life. There's nothing wrong with doing what we're doing. There's nothing wrong with being online. There's nothing wrong with YouTube. There really isn't. There's nothing wrong with doing anything, any of these platforms. Don't let them take over your life, right? Don't let them take over your life. And I know that there are a bunch of people that have been on the boat a long time that are laughing so hard, going, it has taken over his life. Well, I sit in a different chair than the rest of you do. This is a conscious decision, people. When I decided that I wanted to remake who I was, this is who I wanted to remake myself into. It has been beautifully successful. I have become the person that I wanted to be. I took the first half of my life, which at any metric was a complete and just terrible waste. I was able to take that and turn it into something good. That to me is really ultra important because, I don't want to feel like I wasted the first half of my life. When I find out, let you know. I saw a comment that says, tell me when you find out, let me know. Tell you what, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. And Barella, don't take that the wrong way. I get absolutely, I get so disconnected from names versus the names of people here. I kid you not. I probably got 250 emails in the last 3 days. We're cooking. We're absolutely on fire, and we're putting some things into place that are going to make it a little easier to call through all of the emails. It's important to me that every email gets answered. We're going to get to a point where they may get answered by some people other than me. We're just going to grow to that size, and it's going to be. But we're always going to make sure that anybody that is reaching out has the ability to get a hold of somebody. Let me see something. Did I miss? Hold on. Just lost a very good friend again. Oh, I'm so sorry. Swiss Vape. Swiss Vape says, Captain, oh, Captain, I just lost a very good friend. Lung cancer. Will it ever stop? Every time I lost someone, booze or benzos, etc., are close in my thought. Yeah, strong mindset, can't sleep. Swiss, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10, right? This is we talk on the Lifeboat often, people. If you're new here, we talk about putting things on a perspective, because it's a huge thing in life, and really small things sometimes annoy us and bother us to no ends, and we ask you to put it on one of those scales. And what Vape's talking about, Swiss Vapor is a long time friend of the Lifeboat. He's done come on for interviews. He's a great guy, and has overcome so many addictions and been through some really heavy stuff in his life. But Vape, it's when something like this happens, and you put it on that scale, it's a 10. It doesn't get worse than losing somebody that you care about. Losing somebody that you love is hard, and it's the most difficult times for addicts to get through. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're talking about it. I'm glad that you're not bottling that stuff up. We talk here a lot, people, about the fact that there's never been a psychiatrist or a psychologist on the planet that said, if something's bothering you, if something's really eating at you, or if you're in pain, what you want to do is you want to hold that in as tight as possible, right? Don't tell anybody about it, and just kind of keep it to yourself, because that will make it go away. That has never been said out loud, unless it's us clowning on it. The only way that we get through things like this is by letting the sun shine on them. And that, honestly, that's in any of those really life-affecting numbers, right? Not the ones, the 2s and the 3s, where you're just a little, traffic jams and things that piss us off, but they're not life-changing. And when you get up into the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, we start talking about, things like, financial struggles, or somebody at work that's driving you nuts. And it's kind of one of those recurring things, but those are divorces and people cheating on you, and the loss of loved ones. And those are things that, the higher that number gets, the more into the bag of tricks you need to get. And when you go into the bag of tricks, you start off with easy, really sort of simple things like deep breathing exercises and getting out of the environment you're in and going outside and walking around, so that you can kick in all of your, all of your senses and kind of clear the palate of some of the automatic negative thoughts that start taking over. But when you get into the really heavy phase, when you're going through all of those tricks to try to get through whatever it is you're getting through, and again, supplies to whatever, whether you're sober, whether you're someone that's trying to quit gambling, whatever it is, if there's something in your life that you're struggling with, we all have coping mechanisms. And if you organize these things, if there's something you think about, the vast majority of people have something come up in their life and they just go, well, it's time to, here it is. I'm just going to have my emotions and I'm going to live with it. I don't do that anymore. I don't have that luxury. When something starts coming into my life, I am very focused on what the emotion I'm feeling off of that event is. Is that emotion safe for me? Is that emotion dangerous for me? Is this something that I should call and share with somebody? If I lose a loved one, I'm calling somebody, and I'm calling them fast. If someone passes away that I care deeply for, I'm skipping all of the other tricks of the trade, and I'm calling people, and I'm going to say I'm hurting. This is a difficult time, and I think that knowing that people love you can get you through things like Swiss is talking about right now. Staring at a bottle of booze. It's not an option. It isn't. And you know what? Vape, you're not going to do it. I know you're not, and I know that this is really hard. But anybody that's been on the lifeboat for any length of time knows how you are, and knows how you feel about your baby girl. Your moment of lighting up on the channel is always referred to by the diehard crew members of the lifeboat as one of, if not the greatest moment in all of the lifeboat. That moment where your entire being went from super bummed out to the happiest guy in the world just at the thought of your daughter. And that's a blessing, man. That's why when we talk about, the 3 steps that I used as a way of getting sober, the ones that were taught to me, that first page, that why you're getting sober list is a really, really big freaking deal. There are times where it's hard to love yourself. There's never a time where it's hard to love your daughter. Thank you, Vape. I love you, brother. I really do. There are people you can't imagine the lifeboat without, and Swiss Vapor is one of them. And he's thank you for your service. You know what I mean? Part of the reason that Swiss has gone through everything he's gone through medically, and a lot of it psychologically, is because of his service. He's a hero. So we love you, Vape. We really do. Question: what gave you the idea to start this on YouTube? Excellent. So I had intended to go to schools. I had intended to do what I do by talking to kids and then talking to parents and doing them at schools. And that had been the plan for a really long time. I mean, I was still using dope when I started talking about the plan. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I just couldn't get sober. But I had been talking about it for over a decade. And by the time I got, I love you too, bud. By the time I was getting out of prison, my brother Johnny had just shy of 100,000 people on his YouTube channel. So I started doing a segment on his channel called Tommy's Picks. And I would pick comments that people would leave after a video. And I would comment on the comments, why one was extremely funny or why one was, and it became a very popular segment on my brother's channel, Chase the Heat. And I just saw the power of YouTube, and I thought, this is perfect. I started talking to a lot of people in and around recovery, and I didn't do well at AA, and I didn't do well, at NA for me, but I didn't do well at any of those programs. And I don't have a problem. I worked as a public speaker. I don't have a problem standing up in front of people and talking, but I know how many people do. And I know just how intimidating it is for a lot of people. Forget the fact that they're trying to get sober, right? Even under the best of circumstances, let's say they're not even worried about that and they've just had 3 beers. They probably don't want to get up and talk. So for the average person on your first or second day sober to have to, stand up in a room full of people or share your experiences in a room full of people, I just thought the interplay of a live channel, I thought was amazing. I really did. And truthfully, I started out in the videos and just thought that before I realized the power of live, when I did the first live, the Lifeboat took over and said, "You're not doing another video ever again." I'm not even joking. The crew of the Lifeboat said, "We're a live channel now." And I have always said from the day that I started it that I'm just another crew member on the Lifeboat. And there's just really a lot of truth to that. So is Heather, so is Mark. We're all just addicts trying to stay sober. And we just thought this was a hell of a way to do it. We thought that this was a damn fine way to be accountable. If I'm going live 2 hours a day, 365 days a year between, all of us, me, Heather, and Mark. But that's a lot of time. You're accountable to people. There are people looking at you every single day. If you're acting like an idiot, or if you're starting to backslide. And I've had people on the Lifeboat call me on it. It's been a really unique thing. The crew that have been here a really long time. If I'm not doing well, Alan Valentine's going to call me instantly and say, "I just watched your video. What's going on with you?" You know what I mean? There's so many people that watch me day to day that it's kind of like it's impossible to not wear your heart on your sleeve, wear your emotions on your sleeve when you do this. I'm on film way too often. So yeah, I thought, and it's worked out so much better than I thought it was going to. Really and honestly, and it's because of the crew. We had no idea how the crew would take to other people. So often you go to a channel and people click up. It's just like AA and NA. People click up, and you go there, and there's 6 people over there talking, and there's 7 people over here talking, and you walk into the room and you just feel like, you know what, everybody here knows everybody here, and I don't feel particularly welcomed. And I think this is virtual meeting that we do here. When somebody comes onto the Lifeboat, the crew just descends on them. It's instantaneous. Hey, welcome to the Lifeboat. So glad that you're here. Is there anything we can do to help you? If you're new, email Tommy. Email Heather. Let them know what's going on with you, and we're so glad that you're here. Here are the emails. We're live every day, twice at on the 5s. Pacific time. There's always it's amazing how fast the crew here decided to start just doing this, and it was funny because Mark knows a lot more about YouTube than I do. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm trying. I'm learning, and I'm getting better at it. But I'm not a YouTuber, and Mark is, and he's good at it. But I remember Mark saying, it would be really awesome if we get to a day where people are learning as much from the comment section as they are from whatever we're talking about, then we probably have been successful in this. And it was funny because it was like August, right? At the time we were having this conversation, and the channel had been up about 30 days, maybe 40 days. We had just gotten our 1,000th viewer, and we were trying to get our watch time up and all of that. But Mark said, if people started really welcoming and sort of becoming as much of the show as we are, if that could happen by February or March, I think we'd be in really great shape. And the following day, there were like 3 comments in the comment section from people who said, "I can't believe how welcomed I was by people here, and I learned more in the comment section than I have on other channels." And I looked at Mark and said, "Well, it took like 48 hours." It's the early crew really made this channel. Said when I did the same thing and used garlic and all kinds of. What do we got here? But after 3 times of doing this. Oh no, ZW. I'm so sorry to hear that. It just sounds painful. You know what? How about some prayers for Zen? And if you're not somebody that prays, give her some positive thoughts or emotions or whatever you do, right? Light a candle, light a match, stomp your foot, whatever it is you do. I'm so scared about Tara. Yes. You know what? I'm worried about your girl too. It's legitimate. You know what? That's a legitimate thing, and she's out there right now in a tough world. If anybody that you love right now is out in this world and they're using dope, if they're in it, this is a dangerous time. I would be lying. I'm not gonna downplay anything right now. It's an ugly, ugly time to be doing street dope of any kind. It's almost it's there's never been a more dangerous time. The good news is that she's got a mother that cares about her immensely and still cares about her immensely. Very often people give up hope, and you haven't. She's going to be there tomorrow. Well, then let's, we're going to get her on the phone, and we're going to work on that, just so that we don't lose anybody that's watching. Her daughter is currently in the life, and she's using Trink. And Trink is a drug that right now we do not want anybody in the world. Lemmy, I love the idea. He says, Boltneck, maybe do some reviews about old scary movies. I want to tell you something. There's a lot of people that do stuff on that, and I love that. I think I was the 5th member. Hope everyone is doing well. Life is tough. Cricket says, I think I was the 5th member. Good Lord. That is a long, long time ago. That's insane. But that's cool. Very cool. Welcome back. Sorry, I get crazy with the question. What would you recommend? An in-person MAT or is an internet doc okay? You know what, Kelly? I honestly, I do not go and see a doctor in person for medical assisted treatment. When I help people get on medical assisted treatment, I never go the doctor route. One of the things about medical assisted treatment, especially for opiate addiction, is that it is a very, very simple concept, right? It really is. If you follow the instructions, not only is it a very simple, process to understand, but if you want to titrate off of the drug, after you've been on it a long enough period of time and you feel like now you have, like the routine I was talking about earlier, one of the reasons that medical assisted treatment is so fantastic is you get a person on the medical assisted treatment and you start doing all the things I was talking about. They're getting up in the morning, they're journaling, right? They're making their bed. They're attacking the world and they're doing the same things day in, day out, day in, day out. And over the course of a month or two, these things will become ingrained in you. And you're telling your brain from Jump Street, from the very first breath in the morning, I'm a winner. This is my world. I don't live it the way I used to, right? This is the new me. This is the me you can get used to. I'm honest. I'm forthright. I'm here. This is me, right? I'm not carrying baggage from the old stuff. I'm not going to allow that to creep up into who I am now. Nor am I going to allow the guilt from my past. And I know that people struggle with the guilt from what they did when they were on dope. You're talking to somebody that let their family down more than you did. Trust me, right? To be, I'm the only person in my family that's ever been to prison. I assure you. And I had every opportunity for me to end up where I did. It's a disease, people. It really is. And when you're really in the throes of that disease, you're not making decisions at all. It's almost like possession. When you're far enough off into addiction, the chemical is calling the shots, and you end up making decisions that you never would have done. I mean, I look back now and you just think about some of the things and, how do you sit in the car and think that robbing a bank is a good idea, right? And how do you do it more than once? Not that robbing one bank would be logical. Obviously it's not, but making it a lifestyle is something that is just absolutely ridiculous if you think about it. Hold on a second, people. Wow. All right. Do me a favor, Heather Joy. Heather Joy, if you can you unfreeze Alf? I think Alf got frozen out by accident. Oh my God, it's like being possessed. I steal from the, hold on. It's like being possessed. I steal from the effing grocery store. Kelly, I understand. Kelly, there's not a place you could think of that you've stolen that I haven't. I've done grocery stores, stole meat, right? All the stuff that's really easy to flip. You probably steal meat. You steal razors. Meat and razors are two pretty much staples of people that are in the life. You're boosting, right? I mean, right now that's the life, and the street jargon, right? And very often when someone is off in the in opiate addiction, you have to have it every day. It's not like you decide, well, I'll get high today. No, you have to have it every day, and you have to have it usually multiple times a day. So it's one of those things that you absolutely have to have. And you know what? I steal what we need. I mean, it makes sense, Kelly. It does. It's sad, but it makes sense. Well, you know what? People have lines they won't cross. Wolfgang Productions. I'm sure Tara steals. It doesn't. And again, it's not her at the wheel. I can't stress that enough. Right? You're sitting here and you're listening to me, and you're being, super respectful. You always, everybody here, just very, very respectful people who come and listen to everything that I have to say. I stole more than anyone. Right? Keep that in mind as I'm sitting and talking to you. The person that needed to be completely changed was a thief. Like that really was probably my most defining characteristic. Like that's what I got arrested for all the time. All of my crimes revolved around me stealing things. And I look at that now and I think I don't even understand how that I am. I mean, I can't wrap my brain around it. I really can't, but that's who I was. It was that it will completely take over who you are. I missed the comment from Tommy Bird, but somebody said it was very profound. I'll tell you something. Tommy Bird has penned some of the most profound things in the comment section of the Lifeboat. He's been doing it since he first arrived. He is, and this is just what I'm talking about. I mean, some of the stuff that you get in the comment section is so much more. Is so much more important than you're gonna get listening to us. It's why we're growing. It's why the Lifeboat has a fan base. It's because you can get so much out of this. There are so many peeps here that I want to say hey to, but it makes my eyes cross. I'll just say that the Lifeboat rocks. I love all you guys. Awakened, great idea. I think everybody should get a pass for being able to come here and say, hey, hello to everybody. That way you don't feel pressured to try to say hello 250 times and make sure that you didn't miss anybody and feel bad about it. I think everybody should get a pass on that. You can do the hello Lifeboat. Right? Then you can get right into chatting. James R. says, have you been caught already, Kelly? An interesting question, because when you're in that life, almost, says Kelly, I have been arrested for stealing. I don't know how many times, and I'm not saying that as an expression. I literally don't know how many times, but a lot. That carbine guy video brought me to you. You're thinking carbine. Cardone. A Grant Cardone video brought you to me. Well, Grant Cardone did something right. How good is that? You done messed up, Ron. No, but you done messed up. Carbine. Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone and his brother in some trouble. That's the word on the street. They're in some trouble. Sometimes I don't always say hello. I just come and listen. That's all right, snot face. Right? Some people call that lurking. And then a long time ago on the Lifeboat, somebody said, that's not a nice word. It sounds bad to say people are lurking. So we say observing or some such. I can't remember what we came up with, but we came up with a different euphemism. James, my son is doing excellent. I spent a long time with him on the phone this morning. And I will tell him you said hello. He's doing really well. He's going to be coming back on and doing some content. I've got another interview I want to do with him because he's still fighting the good fight and still sober. He's doing fantastic. Christy, or as I like to call her, Queen of the Normies, says, you all have no idea how much you inspire me with your stories. Even those of you just starting or still using. I'll tell you what, the ones that are just starting that is just my drug of choice. For real. Like the number 4. I don't remember the exact full name, but it had a number 4 on the end of it. 5 days sober. That's what keeps you coming back and doing this, man. That's 5 days ago. Somebody was struggling with drugs or alcohol, and today they're not. That's the those early days, man. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those early days of sobriety, or those early days of anything. Changing who you are is just a beautiful thing. But you know what, Christy, our queen of the normies, we are really glad you're here, and our normie group is growing. It's growing in size, and I love that. I really do. I love it because it makes sense. The show is good for anybody, says Just Ruth. I love Ruth. And you're right. It really is. You like to laugh when I am tickled? Marfugel brought you here about a year ago. SDSC, DHL number 4. We love Marfugel. Love the Marfugel fam. Absolutely love Marfugel. Great to have you. Congratulations, man. That's huge. It really is. 5 days is epic. And I am not kidding you. It is the hands down the most important of the 5 days you're ever going to have. It's huge, right? You can't get any more important than those first 5. I want to hear about you marrying your defense lawyer. Johnny Depp is dating his lawyer from his UK trial. I can give you the shortened version of it. She was absolutely amazing looking. She was one of the most beautiful human beings physically you would ever see in your life. And when I first met her, she was also one of the sweetest people I ever met. Sadly, it went very awry. But she came in to visit and talked to me about my case, and we had a lot of meetings together, and feelings started to grow really quickly. We fell in love. It was odd. I mean, I'm sure the reason that I'm not telling you the entire story is because I think it's on here about 3 or 4 times. Like it is. You will find it. I've told the story of my me falling in love with and marrying my attorney. It's definitely out there. It might even be out there like 6 times. It's definitely there. Kelly, I'm new here, and you might steal, but I am stunned by your honesty. It's a clear light, and it shines through the dark. Jillian, thank you so much for that comment. I got a story for you all, because this is so perfect with what we're talking about right now. When we first started the Lifeboat, we had a crew member that had come on, and this individual, we probably had about 1,000 subscribers, but we were only getting maybe 30 or 40 views. We were very, very small. But this person came on, and they had about 25 days or 30 days or something of sobriety. They were really doing well, and we were cheering for them pretty much on a daily basis. We were all Leisure. Good to see you, man. We're praying for you, bud. Thoughts and prayers, Leisure. Love you, man. Hope you're doing well. But this individual comes back onto the boat, and I said, "Hey, congratulations! It's 3 weeks today, isn't it?" Right, and or 4 weeks or whatever it was. But it was going to be a big day, and the person said, "No, I got drunk last night." Nobody could see him. Nobody knows that they got drunk last night. One of the most amazing things about this channel is how open and honest the people here are. I've heard people in the past, I'll get emails and they'll say, "Man, you guys got a lot of moderators." Think about what we talk about. Think about how open and honest people have to be about their past. We have a lot of moderators, and they're quick with wrenches. They're quick to knock a person off the boat. People share some very deep stuff, and they're brutally honest about their past and their present. And we feel pretty strongly about protecting that kind of stuff. But I love your comment. I really do. I love that comment, because that's what I see. And you are a perfect fit, a perfect fit for the Lifeboat, because that's what you should see. For real. When someone comes on and says that, that's what you should see. You know what? We don't want, yes, we know how to throw wrenches, says V. We don't want anybody stealing. I'm not encouraging it in any way, shape, or form or anything like that. But the honesty that it takes to come on here and just be that open, that is the first step always to healing, for real, to the start to the process that ends with you being the best version of yourself starts with honesty every single time. I don't care. If you're trying to get sober, man, that journey is going to start with you telling the people that you love the most the truth, right? And, well, they know I use. Oh, of course they do. Of course they do. But sit down in front of them and tell them that you can't control it, that this thing has your number. And I think you're going to be very surprised because, again, 9 out of 10 times people know that, right? Trust me, they know it. But when they hear it come out of your mouth, it's healing for you. It's healing for them. It's a beautiful thing. People mean sometimes on my channel, some trolls call me a drug addict. My daughter has problems. I'm trying to save her. You know what? Look, here's the thing with trolls, right? There are people in this world who hate because they cannot control themselves. That's all they can do is hate without fail, right? Every time you come across somebody that's a troll, they had a channel that failed. For real. They have a channel that's not successful. And they're very angry about that. So they lash out at anybody they can. And they get their 15 minutes of fame by being cruel to people. Right. And if that's, don't feed the trolls. It's exactly right. We don't mention them by name. We don't address them. I don't care how many videos were made yesterday about me, because they were, I assure you. But knock yourself out. I don't care. I have a mission. What I'm doing here is important. It's growing beautifully. We're right where we want to be for this time. We really are. We're right where we want. We're right where we want to be. So, Valerie, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Mind games, I like it. Trolls need to be tied up and put out in the middle of a field and wait for the sun to come up and turn them to stone. I like it. Although if you could plan that correctly, like I wouldn't mind putting a few of them around the top of the house and maybe go for that kind of like gargoyle kind of a look. You know what I'm saying? I've been a big fan of gargoyles since I was a kid. I think gargoyles are really, really cool. And then when my son was a boy, when Calhoun was just a kid, they had those toys. They were all gargoyles. They all had names of cities from New York. There was Brooklyn, and there was, all of they're just really, really cool toys, big ones with wings and all that. And my son loved them. And it was great because I was one of those dads that just remembered being a kid. You know what I mean? So when he decided that he was into the gargoyle thing, I was like, oh, let's go buy all of them. Let's just go buy every one of those puppies. Big shout out, Miss Dragon. If you haven't gone over and checked out Miss Dragon's channel, please do. One of the mods could put up a link to that channel. That would be awesome. She does really good stuff. She really, really does. I'm sorry. Just checking. And Griffin, absolutely. See? Darcy gets it. Absolutely. Griffin's very, very cool. Very, very cool. I dig them. All right, people. That pretty much brings us to the end of the show. A squirrel. I can't believe that cat. Did Clintman81 return to the boat for yesterday's show? Think he was struggling a bit? I missed early morning phone call from him. He did return to the boat, left a comment. We love seeing him, man. We really do. We love seeing him. Carousel Delirium, if we could get her a link to her channel up as well, please. Another person that's really been helping out with the boat. I came over from AA, Ron. You've converted me to journaling. Oh, which I hated before. But structure and journaling are two huge takeaways for me. Do you see this, Jillian? This is for you. I fought it harder than you did. I fought journaling harder than anybody. That's why whenever people say to me, man, I hate journaling, not as much as I did. When you stick around the Lifeboat long enough, you're going to realize that when I open up about my drug use, growing up, I struggled really badly with my ability to write. And I still do. I still do. My ability to talk and my ability to write are on different ends of the spectrum. Getting it from here to paper is a very difficult thing for me. So it was one of the reasons I did dope. It really was. I struggled in school, and it was, and because I sounded like I sounded in sixth grade, like I do now, I was always a very good communicator talking. And for that reason, nobody thought, maybe there's a learning disability here. They thought I was smart as hell and just lazy, and it was one of the things that pushed me into drug use. So the journaling thing was like, it was almost like you want to wipe what caused this in my face as part of my recovery. Sounded like a really dumb idea, but that's better than 8 years ago. And man, I journal. Boy, I journal. I journal my keister off. And when things are really fantastic, I write so much. And when things really suck, I write so much. It's become something that has borne so much fruit in my life. You know what I mean? Since I began journaling, the things that I've wanted to accomplish, I have. That's so unusual for a guy that spent 30 years doing dope. I was very accustomed to everything in life that I wanted not coming true. I had spent a lifetime of the things I wanted being just out of reach, or if I got them, I didn't get them for long. I made a lot of money several times in my life and had really good jobs, but I could never hold on to any of them. Tommy, I sketched New York City storefronts with my Pomeranians and me in the sketches. Oh, it sounds awesome. It really does. Chilihead, I hope you have a blessed day too, New Zealand. God bless you, brother. Squirrel. I know. You know what? Squirrels. She did make a show earlier, man, but she's and here's the crazy thing. I bought that little snot treats, right? Squirrel hasn't had treats in probably 5 days or so because I've been a terrible cat owner. Lemmy gonna play Motorhead. The ace of spades. I don't know. For my money, Lemmy doing Sympathy is probably his version of Sympathy is just ridiculous. Take care of yourselves, everyone, because you deserve it. You really, really do. Well, that's a good one to end on. Anything artistic is definitely therapeutic, says Boltneck, and there's no question. There is no question. I agree with that 100%. People, tomorrow morning, we're going to be back on the Lifeboat. I'm hoping Alf is still here. Alf, if you're blocked, send me an email because I saw that you got timed out. I know it was an accident. If by some chance you're blocked, if that happens to anybody, accidentally get blocked, it happens. We move quickly, fingers get flying. So if by some chance we blocked you, let us know so we can unblock you. It's just an accident. Stuck in my head. Yep. Kathy, good to see you, hon. Good to see you. And we're going to be, I will be coming back with Dr. K. I had some issues getting all that put together tonight, but we're going to be back with Dr. K as well. So it'll be the Dr. K and Tommy show or the Dr. K and Heather show. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but one of us is going to be there. Yay, carousel link, please. You hear that? Let's get that taken care of before I leave. Carousel Delirium is doing a lot to help out, and that doesn't go unnoticed. She's got a channel. Let's give her some love, people. That's what we do. That's what the Lifeboat does, right? It's what everybody does. Look at the love that we've been given. There's Alf. There you are, buddy. Sorry, Alf. Accidents happen. They happen a lot. Usually it's my fault, but I don't think I did it. I don't think I did this one, though. There we are. See that, people? Now all you got to do is hit that. Head on over there and hit subscribe. It's a pretty simple process. And another positive place to get a positive message. Exact same thing by going over and seeing Miss Dragon. And any of you that, if you ever had an itch, if you ever think you had a message that can help some people, hit play, man. Put your phone out in front of you and hit play. For real. Start a YouTube channel. I'm at 1,058 subs. Congratulations, Sasquatch Hunter Alaska Adventures. You know what? That's another. You know what? I love it. I really do. It's another person that could. I will happily support any positive people that are out there putting up positive stuff. There's nothing more important right now. People, we are in a no joke war, good and evil. I mean, just go and watch like 25 videos and tell me that there's not a distinction. Kitty videos are great. There's a lot of really happy stuff out there on the internet. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of really, really ugly stuff. So let's just all keep doing what we're doing. Let's all take care of one another. Huh? Let's take care of each other. If we don't, no one else is gonna. I love every one of you. If you're ready to make a change, people, do it. Right? If you're ready to make a change, do it. It's that simple. All right. I love you, people, and I will catch all of you tomorrow on the Lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. The cat has the night off. Good night, everybody.